Hello trading friends and welcome back to Forex Focus, brought to you by IG. Taking a look at the recent move in Bitcoin as well as what it means for the stock market, the US dollar market, and the gold market, as everything seems to be on the move here as we get into the middle part of April. But let's start out with the Bitcoin story as the market once again nearing all-time highs. If you checked in mid-March, you might have thought, oh, well, Bitcoin's fallen and maybe it's going to fall back into the middle part of the range for the last handful of months. But in recent trading, has bounced back above 70,000, nearing those highs. And depending on what market you're looking at, the spot market, the futures market, and what time frame, you could get any number from 72.5 to 75,000 as the all-time high for Bitcoin. So let's just call it 74, where the futures got up to on a daily close basis as being the high. And right now, Bitcoin trading around 72 and change means that it's not too far from those all-time highs after, dropping $10,000 from the mid part of March towards the end of it. And now the market fighting back here. And it has us wondering, excuse me, where the market can go from here. Is 100K in range for this Bitcoin market? And if you're looking at Bitcoin volatility, you would see that, it's well within range. Actually, current volatility in the Bitcoin market of 67% reflects a one standard deviation move of about $48,000 in the next year. And so what does this all mean? Well, it means that the current traders of Bitcoin and derivatives on Bitcoin, like options, are projecting a volatility of 67%, which means on an annual basis, they think it's within the realm of possibility for this Bitcoin market to appreciate or depreciate by about 67%, or 2/3 of its value. And so that means at around $70,000, a 67% up move or down move within the next year, being within the realm of possibility, gets us well beyond $100,000. And in fact, if you adjusted that for time and you brought that in by, let's cut it in half, bring it in by 6 months, the market right now trading between 70 and 75,000, and this 67% volatility projecting an annualized 48K move. Well, a semi-annualized 25K move in the market, like I say, near 75K. That means that traders think that this market could get close to $100,000 in maybe a 6 to 12 month time frame. Now, on the flip side of things, keep in mind the risk in this market to the downside. Not only has this market traded in the last year in the 20,000 handle, but this projected volatility of about a $50,000 move in the next year, of course, means that this market could fall from the low to mid 70s down to the 20 to 30K range, and that would be very normal given these recent prices and volatility projections. But let's get into what this could mean for other markets. We're going to throw a bunch of correlations at you here and get you as much data around Bitcoin's correlation to the S&P, US dollar, and gold market as possible. And you're going to see a common theme across these different asset classes, which is that correlations are getting closer to zero, which is to say that Bitcoin is really doing its own thing relative to, for example, the S&P 500 here, which has, in the last year or two of trading, had as high of a correlation as positive 0.5. And it looks like it's been a little bit higher there, even in the latter part of 22, start of 23, which is, at that point, a strong positive correlation. I mean, more than positive 0.5. That's really the type of correlation you see between, a Microsoft and an Apple, or an Amazon and a Google, similar markets, right? We're talking about cryptocurrency and the stock market. And so historically, it's had a positive correlation. They have tended to move in the same direction. But in recent months, and which is funny because the S&P 500 is right there around all-time highs, and Bitcoin is right there around all-time highs. But they're not necessarily leading one or the other in that direction because the correlations have actually gotten lower, even though they're both near all-time highs. And so that just tells you that there's not a very strong relationship one way or the other between these two markets at this current time, but historically it has been strong positive and it can get back there. But right now, one isn't leading the other. Let's go on to the US dollar market to show you the flip side of things. As you might imagine, Bitcoin being a cryptocurrency and the US dollar being a traditional currency market, and the fact that Bitcoin is often priced in US dollar in the way that a lot of people trade it and look at it, they've had a negative correlation historically, but it's actually not been that strong. It's really topped out at negative 0.2, 0.3 area. And another one on that common theme of recently, there's really been no correlation. I mean, that's as close to zero correlation as you can get, what we've seen in recent months here. And so another piece of Bitcoin's not really replacing US dollar, or US dollar strength isn't hampering Bitcoin or vice versa. These markets and US dollar is actually still relatively strong. It's not at all-time highs or highs for the last couple of years. It's been a pretty strong dollar bull market in recent years, but it's closer to its highs than its lows for sure. It's been a relatively strong US dollar market, even though Bitcoin, its potential replacement or competition or whatever you want to call it as a currency market, is at its all-time highs here. And so that correlation breaking down as well. Well, let's round things out because surely there's going to be a strong correlation between Bitcoin and gold, right? No dice here as well. And this is one that, interestingly enough, has been on both sides of zero. It's been a negative correlation. It's been a positive correlation. And one that, again, recently, common theme, correlation right around zero. Maybe this is even closer to zero than that Bitcoin dollar correlation we just looked at, as gold, and it's not necessarily a competitor to Bitcoin in recent trade. It's not a synergetic positive correlation to Bitcoin in recent trade. All of these markets, for better or worse, are acting on their own. One's not leading the other, and they're not moving in the same direction or opposite directions in any given time frame, which is actually tends to be a good thing for diversification and everything else. If you're buying or selling each of these different asset classes, they're moving on their own, which, like I say, is a diversified feeling in your portfolio. But of course, these correlations can change. They can change just as quickly as that Bitcoin price can change. Right now, trading in the low to mid 70s, nearing all-time highs. We'll see if 100K is next, or I guess just as likely in the next year, could be the 25 to 30 range. We'll see where it goes. The only thing that we do know is the market is moving.